You're watching the All-American Racing League on the Sim World Racing Network.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Talladega, Alabama, home of the Talladega Superspeedway for race number 10 of the 2025 All-American Racing League Cup Series. After a 3-week hiatus, we are back on the air in the Sim World Racing Network. My name, as always, the voice of the All-American Racing Leagues, is Nathan Christian. So glad you could join us here from Talladega this evening. As I mentioned, race 10 for this season as we get set to go 399 miles, 150 laps in the Alabama Slamma 399. As we get set, we'll take a look here as practice is ongoing still at this point. So we'll see if we have any cars out on track. Looks like a couple cars are making some laps here still under practice. There's James Nelson, the auto serve, number 75 Ford Mustang. And out there also is Michael Kurtzlek in the number 41 Ford, the Moza Motorsports butt kicker Valvoline, number 41 Ford. And behind them, that's the number 2 Harley Davidson Ford Mustang. That is Tyrone Yo, and out there on track. So 3 cars continuing to get some practice laps in here at the tail end of practice. We'll take a look here at the standings. With about 8 minutes to go in practice so far, James Nelson quickest on the speed charts with a 4.9768. 4.9768 for James Nelson. Michael Kurtzlek currently sits in second with a 4.9769, so just 1/1000th of a second off of the time of the driver of the number 75 car, and then just 2/1000ths of a second back is the 15 of Dave Hara there on the scoring chart. So we'll take a step here and we'll watch these cars go through the final practice laps here before we get set to go to qualifying here from Talladega. Of course, same as always, 2 laps. Green flag qualifying. Fastest your 2 laps will set your starting position for the event this afternoon. Beautiful sunny afternoon here in Talladega as we get set to go 399 miles. So far, 8 cars signed into the pits this afternoon for this one. Hopefully we get a good, clean race here this afternoon. Obviously, back at the Superspeedway racing means one quick repair back in the pockets of these drivers. Ooh, that's a tough pit entry there for Kurtzlek. He gets into the cone. Out on track, another driver finishing up practice here out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Hillbilly Dave Hara in that number 15 LSPD Chevrolet Camaro. He's going to try his pit entrance here, see if he can get it a little smoother than the Kurtzlek 41 did. He's able to get it down onto pit road there, as you can see him coming to the attention of his pit crew here at the end of practice. 6 minutes to go before we get set to go qualifying, and we are going to take a second here, and we'll be right back on the other side. Again, thanks for joining us here on the Sim World Racing Network from the Talladega Superspeedway. So far, looks like we have 9 cars ready to do battle here around the 2.66 mile Superspeedway. Just obviously, as I mentioned off the top, coming back to the airwaves after a brief 3-week hiatus. I was on vacation for the first week. Second week, I was sicker than a dog because of vacation, and last week, obviously, a off week for the Cup Series. But we are getting back on track here from Talladega this week. One thing to also mention, while we were off the air, we had a couple of repeat winners go to victory lane here in the 2025 season. We'll pull that up here, take a quick look at who won these last couple of races. So Darlington, that win 3 weeks ago on April 3rd, went to Travis Rodriguez. That's his 4th win on the season for Travis. And then 2 weeks ago, the last race on the books for the All-American Racing League was from Bristol Motor Speedway, 400 laps around the high-banked half-mile oval, and Chris Essery picked up his 2nd win on the year. So no new winners while we are away, but we are back at it here again this week, looking for maybe a new winner on the season. So far, Travis Rodriguez, Dave Hara, Ken Pack, Chris Essery, and Dave Lurfano are the drivers to make it to victory lane here in the first 9 races of the 2025 season. So we'll look to maybe add a new name to that here tonight, or we'll have a repeat winner. See if Mr. Superspeedway himself, driver of that number 7 car there on your screen, Travis Rodriguez, can pick up his 3rd consecutive Superspeedway win. And after going back-to-back to start the season, actually went back-to-back to start the season, but the first 2 wins were the Superspeedway races at Daytona and the opening event, first of 2 events from Atlanta on the year. So we'll see if Travis Rodriguez can go 3 for 3 from the Superspeedways as practice comes to an end. And Travis says, I want to yeet this car, as he does just that. So we get set to go qualifying here from Talladega Superspeedway. Again, 2 laps. Fastest of your 2 laps will set your starting position here for the 399-mile extravaganza we have on our hands tonight. Obviously, got to get out on track right away if you're going to get all 2 laps in with the warm-up lap. And the lap time's around 50 seconds. You got to maximize your on-track time to capitalize and get all 3 laps under your belt. So as we can see, the cars are starting to make their way onto the track. That is the driver of the number 41 machine out of Louisville, Kentucky. That is Michael Kurgelak in the Butt Kicker Moza Motorsports Valvoline number 41 Ford Mustang there, going through turns 1 and 2, getting up to speed as he works his way onto the back straightaway. Another driver also coming out of turn number 2 and heading down the back straightaway, driver the number 75 Auto Stewart Ford Mustang. That is Harper Ferry's West Virginia's own James Nelson. Another driver on track, the number 2 Harley Davidson machine with sponsorship from the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, New York, Pennsylvania. That is Tyrone Yo. Chad Snyder sporting a brand new paint job. He debuted a few weeks ago while we were off the air, but that is a sharp looking number 26 Blues race design. Assault Motorsports Toyota, as he works his way down through turns 3 and 4, looking to break the green flag on his first of 2 laps, this time by Dave Lurfano on track in his number 8 LSPD machine, the teammate to Dave Hara. Dave, 1 win on the year so far for the driver out of Poland, Maine. Aforementioned Dave Hara, he is on track also getting that car wound up for, I believe he is actually on lap 1 of 2 here this time out of turn number 4. He should set a time for his first lap. So Dave Hara on track, up to speed. Another driver on track, the Lyman, South Carolina native Greg Barnett, driving the Speeds Society number 38 Chevrolet Camaro, as he works his way down through the long tri-oval down to the stripe to complete his first of 2 time laps. First car to set a lap time though will be Tyrone 53.838 for Tyrone on lap number 1. He's going to be bested by Dave Lurfano with a 53.765. Barnett's 53.778. Kurgelek will slide into third and get bumped to fourth as now James Nelson goes to the top of the board with a 53.755. So it's Nelson, Lafano, Barnett, Kurgelek, Hera, Tyrone Yo, your 6 cars that have put down a lap so far in this one. Should see Chad Snyder pop up here on the scoreboard just shortly as he gets set to set a time, as so does Chris Essery of 54.314 for Essery. Snyder's 53.898 is 7th quickest right now out of the 9 cars here tonight. Travis Rodriguez just getting on the loud pedal for his first of 2 laps as he just took the green flag, as we'll let the second lap sort themselves out, see if anyone can go any quicker here on lap number 2. Down across the line, no movement yet for any of the drivers. Looks like everyone's first lap will be their quick lap here from the 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway, but one driver who's still working on his first lap, that is the driver of the number 7 machine, working his way through turns 3 and 4 out at the turn 4 down to the tri-oval, looking to set a quick lap here on lap number 1 is the driver of the number 7 car. That is Travis Rodriguez. 4 Cup wins on the season, leads the way in that statistic for the San Antonio, Texas native. Crosses the line and completes lap number 1. See where he slots in. Ooh, 9th quickest. So a little bit of work to do for Travis at 53.4843. He is not very far off of it though, only about 9/10 of a second, or 9/100ths rather, of a second back from Nelson, 7.55. So a little bit of work to do for Travis here on lap number 2, but as I mentioned, picked up both of the Superspeedway wins so far this year in 2025 as he looks to go 3 for 3 on the high banks here at Talladega. Works his way out of turn number 4. Down through the long tri-oval, he'll work his way back to the start-finish line. He'll make stop the clock on lap number 2. Unfortunately, no quicker on the second lap, a little bit slower, 53.928 for Travis. So he will hold on to the final starting grid position here this afternoon, as we are all done qualifying, as no cars are yet left to qualify here. All 9 cars have completed their 2 laps, and looks like James Nelson will be the pole sitter tonight as we get set to go racing here from from Talladega. As we can see the field getting doubled up there just at the start-finish line. We'll get set to go on the pace lap and bring you the starting lineup for tonight's Alabama Slamma 399 from the Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama. 9-car field, looks to go 150 laps here this afternoon. Again, last race won by Chris Essery, and the race before that from Darlington picked up the win was Travis Rodriguez. So look for those guys to be fast here up front in this one, but also the other 7 cars in the field all have a chance to win this one as we get set to roll the field here just momentarily. Just waiting for one car to complete the gridding process and we will be set to roll the field here. So stage breaks tonight will be coming at the end of laps number 48 rather. End of lap 48 and the end of lap 96 will be the first 2 stages here tonight from Talladega, and then we'll bring it on home 150 laps total race distance. As we are almost set to go. So it looks like we're going to roll the field. Looks like our pole sitter, James Nelson, will not make the gridding process. Not sure where James has gone, but he will be the pole sitter unofficially for this one. And outside of him, in the number 8 car, on the outside rather of the front row, that is going to be Dave Lafano at a pole in Maine. Moving up to the pole position on the inside row, the 38 machine out of Lyman, South Carolina, that is Greg Barnett. Going from outside row number 2 will be the 4 car of Chris Essery. Then from 5th on the grid, but 3rd on the lineup, will be the 41 butt kicker, Mosa Motorsports Valvoline Ford Mustang of Louisville, Kentucky's Mike Kurgelek. And the 3rd row on the inside, moving up 1 row, will be the 26 Blues Race Design Assaults Motorsports Toyota Camry out of Mineral, Virginia. That is Chad Snyder. To his outside will be the driver of the number 15 LSPD Chevrolet Camaro Hillbilly, Dave Hara from Charlotte, North Carolina. Inside the final row, moving up again 1 row because of James missing the original start, that will be Travis Rodriguez in the number 7 Ford Mustang. Outside him, driving the Harley Davidson number 2, sponsored by the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. That is Tyrone Yo out of York, Pennsylvania, as he will go from the outside of the last row. So now we have 8 cars on the grid as we get set to go for this one. Again, 150 laps to 399 miles the distance as the field works its way through turns 3 and 4. They will work their way out of turn number 4. Hit that Geico restart zone. Wait for the starter to drop the green flag, as on the original start, the starter controls the race, but every start after that will be on the leader. So here we go. Just keeping in mind, back at Superspeedway Racing, 1 fast repair in the pocket of all these drivers, as well as the double yellow line rule in effect, so no passing below the double yellow line to advance your position if forced down there. You have to do your best to safely get back up on the track, but looks like the pace lap has been extended 1 extra lap here. Not sure. I think maybe it was to wait for James Nelson, but having some technical difficulties on his computer. But looks like we will go 1 more lap under caution here before we get set to go racing next time out at turn number 4. So it looks like James has made it onto pit road at least, so we'll have to start this one from pit road. He will join as the field takes the green. He will obviously be at a disadvantage not being in the draft with the pack of cars, so we'll see how it all shakes out for James Nelson here in the early going. Not the start of the race that James wanted. Qualified again on the pole for the afternoon's event, but some kind of issue has prevented him from joining the field here in time to grid, so he will have to start from pit road for this event. But again, 150 laps is a long time here at Talladega to work your way back into a position where you are going to be in a good spot at the end of this one. Well, the field works its way down the back straightaway 1 more time under caution. Looking again for the green flag this time. We'll try it again as we get set to go. It's going to be Barnett and Lafano on row 1, Kurgelek and Chris Essery on row 2. You got the 26 of Chad Snyder, the 15 of Dave Hara in row 3, the Rodriguez 7, and the Tyrone Yo in the number 2 make up the 4th and final row. And then you'll see the 75 join us off of pit road once the green flag is out. But the field will slowly wake its way through turns 3 and 4 as we get set to go. 150 laps here from the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. So a long way around from when the pace car drops off to the Geico restart zone. It's on the back half of the tri-oval, so we'll keep an eye on the field as they work their way. They get down there. There they are, hitting the restart zone. Green flag is out, and we are racing here at Talladega. Looks like the outside row's got the push going as Ricciardi blocked bumpers there on the top side. Now they're going to pull back even is the bottom side, being led by Barnett, Kurgelek, Snyder, and Rodriguez on the inside row. Lerfano, Esri, Hera, and Tyrone Yo on the outside row as the field works its way down the back straightaway here on lap number 1. Take a look a little further back as we see James Nelson able to make it off of pit road, obviously sitting behind the rest of the field by about a good margin here early in this one, but obviously a caution will get him right back into this one here as the field works its way across the start finish line. We want to complete that time for the field. Like the inside row has been formed in one long line with one car on the outside looking in. That's the race's number 4 of driver Chris Esri working that outside line. He's going to drop to the back here early in this one as the LSPD machines lead the way here on the first lap. As you can see, Lerfano, Hera, and the 38 of Barnett working the front here. Lap number 2 that time at the line. On the back straightaway, 2-car group there at the front, then Barnett in the middle, and then you have Rodriguez and Snyder trying to close that gap to the back of the Barnett 38, and then 2 cars a little further back behind them as they ride single file here through turns 3 and 4. Half of the pack as they've caught up now, being led by Tyrone Yo. He had to pull out a line to avoid running over the 7 machine that time through turns 1 and 2, so they continue to work down the back straightaway. The lead group is still going to be the 15 and 88 leading the way over the 15, 38, 26, and 7. Then the second row kind of developed there on the outside, being led by the 2-car of Tyrone Yo. Now Tyrone will try to duck back in line behind the 7-car as the 41 and the 4 still continue to work the top side. They're going to look to work around the 2 of Tyrone and try to make a push back here up to the front, maybe getting something going in that second line. Not quite yet, but still very early in this one as we are 4 laps into this one. Onboard roof cam of the number 2 machine of Tyrone Mills, who works his way down the front straightaway here. 2 kind of rows still circling around this super speedway this afternoon. Now the 15 is Dave Hare. He'll make a move up to the outside, try to get a push from that top line, see if they can get that second line up to even with the leader, Dave Lerfano, at this point, but Hera kind of pulling out, trying to put the kibosh on the run that the outside line has going, so they will need to regroup and try again, but they've gone all the way now to the back behind the 2-car. They're going to drop down and get their momentum back up and probably make another run here at the top side momentarily. File through the top 8. Continue to work under green flag. see us having too many cautions this afternoon with the few cars that are in the race tonight. Should be able to keep it clean and green for most of the afternoon. Here's hoping. Side row looking to form up again. The Kurgelek and the combination of Kurgelek's 41 and the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup number 4 rather of Chris Esri on the outside here as they work the high side through the tri-oval. Now Dave Harrell will see if he wants to join that two-car on the top side. He pulls up out of line. Craig Barnett pulls up out of line. This may stymie that run for the top side again, just like it did when Harrell pulled up in front of them. Keep an eye on it though. They seem to have a little better momentum this time through turns 1 and 2 rather. Down the back straightaway. Now Barnett's going to be almost even with the leader Lofano as they work to the far end of the turn back straightaway down into turn number 3. Having a little difficult keeping those cars nose to tail on that outside line once Barnett got up there in front of them. So now the Esri 4 and the 15 Hera, they'll drop back down to the bottom side as Barnett and Kurgelek now will be on the top, but Esri and Hera now look to maybe go back up to the top, but as I say that, Barnett and Kurgelek go back down to the bottom. So these guys can't get themselves organized in any kind of way to make a run here at the front. And up front it's been all Dave Lofano from the drop of the green flag here. Led all 8 laps so far this afternoon. Now a second row developing. They'll seem to have their ducks in a row for the most part. It's going to be led by Esri, Hera out there as well. Then Barnett and Kurgelek bringing up the rear. Field works its way out of turn number 4 down to the tri-oval and back down to the straight. Back to single file formation through the front part of the field as they're going to slowly catching back of the 75 of James Nelson. Hopefully he is able to grab onto the draft and keep with these guys here once they catch up to him. Obviously he will be the only driver 1 lap down at this point, and obviously a caution will propel him back onto the lead lap. Again, pretty confident we're not going to see many of those this afternoon outside of 2 stage cautions are guaranteed, so hopefully James can hold on to the pack as they go by here momentarily and still looking to pick up that lucky dog at the end of stage number 1, which comes at the completion of lap number 48. So as they get to the inside of Nelson, hopefully they're catch a draft off someone in the field there. It looks like Mike Kurgelek's going to go up and give him some help as they will drop now in behind the back of the pack, but still holding on there. So it looks like Nelson 1 lap down to the field, but in a position where he should be able to stay with these guys now as long as they haven't fallen too far back. He's getting some help and a push from the Kurgelek 41 through the tri-oval. Looks like they're still in good shape this time at the line. Up front, no, now it's the Lofano 8 continues to lead the way. Chad Snyder in his 26 up to second. The 7 car of Rodriguez, the 15 of Dave Hara in the top 4 at this point. Then you have Barnett's 38 rounding out the top 5. And you see the top side has the 41 and the 75 as they were, as I mentioned, able to stay with the draft. Help from Kurgelek to the Nelson 75, able to keep him up in the draft. Now Barnett will drift up in front of the 75, see if he can get a push from those guys as they work their way through the trioval again. Those cars, when they go from outside, if they switch lanes quickly trying to get some help from the outside run, it all but completely stalls out the run that the outside line has running or going for it. That's what we've seen here early in this one. So Barnett though now has two other cars behind him as they look down the back straightaway here, seeing if they can close the gap down to Dave Lafano in the front of this one. They're going to see if they can get a fourth car to join them up on the top side. That is the Reese's number 4 of Chris Castillo, California, the driver. 2 wins on the year so far for him in the number 4 machine. Continues to be the driver of the number 8, Dave Lafano, leading the way. Chad Snyder, and then the 7 of Rodriguez. Now the outside row has made up some ground on some of the cars in the inside row. Now Barnett will drop back to the bottom in front of Dave Hara, and the 75 and the 41 and the 4 will still stay on the top side. It's going to cost them some momentum though, as the single file row on the bottom makes a run on there, but now 2 cars will jump out to the outside after a good run off of turn number 2. See if that will help, to see if they will get some help rather from the 75 and the 41. Lafano, Snyder, Barnett, the top 3. Rodriguez and Hara side by side for 4th and 5th that time out of turn number 4. Rodriguez has lost the back bumper of the 26 here, as it's kind of a 2-car break there up front. And now Rodriguez will get some help from Tyrone Yo as they go side by side with Barnett, Hara, and the 75 of Nelson on the outside. The inside is going to be Rodriguez, who now gets to the back bumper of the 26 this time off of turn number 2. You see how the side drafting is affecting these cars. You get right up there beside someone on the inside, and it's going to slow them right down, as that has seemed to be what has happened here a couple times after the Rodriguez 7, after he's able to close that gap back up to the bumper of the 26. The outside row uses that side draft to slow that inside row down and pull him off the back of the 26. So it's not slowing the whole row down, unfortunately, for what they're hoping to do. It's just going to slow the car right there beside you down and cause him to pull off the car in front of him. But so far hasn't been able to work, as Nelson continues to push hard on the back of the 38 through turns 1 and 2 and on to the back straightaway. Down into turn 3 and 4. Pushing there, some cars getting some weeble wobbles through turns 1 and 2, but everyone gets that sorted out as we head back down the back straightaway. We got trouble. Caution out here in this one as the 75 of Nelson and the 38 of Greg Barnett get together, bringing out the first caution on the afternoon. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened here on the replay. So just a bad push by the 75 there. I'm not lined up where they needed to be behind the Barnett number 38 in game. They're going to shove down into the corner and down the back straightaway rather, and just those bumpers not being lined up was enough to catch and hook the 38 car. We'll take one more look at this one here on the replay. You'll see the 38 just get too far to the left, and then outside the 75 goes, and then just contact with the front bumper to the right rear quarter panel. The 38 gets the 38 hard into the outside wall, bringing out our first caution of the afternoon as Greg Barnett able to continue under his own power, but as you can see, some significant damage there on that number 38 machine as he heads down the back straightaway. Gonna have to bring that to the attention of the pit crew. Not sure if he will need to use a quick repair here early in this one, or if he will be able to get the crew to take a look at it and work on it here under caution. Longer caution laps here at Talladega, so you usually get about a minute and a half to a minute and 45 seconds for your crew to work on any damage you have. So we'll see if Barnett uses that to his advantage, or if he will use that quick repair. But he heads down pit road to the attention of his pit crew with the rest of the field at this time. So unfortunately for James Nelson being involved in that caution, that will lose his capability to receive the free pass here on caution number 1. So he will still be stuck one lap down in this one as Barnett will again make its way to his pit stall. We'll see if the damage gets fixed right away. It does. Looks like Barnett did use that quick repair. First car off of pit road will be the 41. And then you got the 8, the 26, the 7, the 2, the 15, and then a couple other cars just getting their services completed as everyone rolls on the exit of pit road. But the winner of the battle off of pit road is the driver of that number 41 machine, the butt kicker, Moza Motorsports Valvoline Ford Mustang, Mike Kurdzgelek there in that beautiful looking number 41 machine. He makes his way back up onto the speedway. We'll reset the lineup here in a moment when we get set to go back to double file. Hopefully this time at the start finish line. It'll be 20 laps complete this time at the line, and we will have our second leader of the afternoon, driver of the number 41 machine, Mike Kurdzgelek, will go to the top of the scoring pylon here from Talladega. Indigo signal given to the field that time at the line. They will double up as they head down through turns 1 and 2. Next time out of turn 4, we'll see the green flag, and we'll go back racing on at the completion of lap number 21. So it'll be 21 in the books when we go back. Green flag racing. There'll be 129 left to run this afternoon. Field works its way through turns 3 and 4 down towards the Geico restart zone. Back underway here momentarily. From Talladega, you're watching the Sim World Racing Network's presentation of the Alabama Slamma 399 for the All-American Racing League Cup Series, race number 10 on the season for these guys. 9 cars here in the field tonight. Everyone on the lead lap, unfortunately, except for the 75 of James Nelson, one lap down at this point. Had a bit of an issue there getting gridded here early in this one. Might have been some technical difficulties from his computer as we went an extra caution lap to be able to get him in the race. With only 9 cars, we want to maximize the time everyone has to get joined. So down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out. Race leader Mike Kurdzlek on the loud pedal. He will stumble, bumble, and rumble down towards turn number 1. On the outside from the 8 and the 7 down into turn 1 and 2. They're going to be pretty even with Kurdzlek and Snyder on the bottom. And Rodriguez on the outside. Careful there. We don't want to get a little off-center pushing. We know what that will result in is that now Snyder will slip up behind the driver of the number 7 machine. He'll get help from the 15 of the Hera now as they will clear themselves of the inside row. And those 4 cars will now duck down in front of the Kurdzlek 41. Will be the lead 4 this time through turns 3 and 4. Outside row sorting itself out. Got Kurdzlek, Tyrone, of Essery there on that outside. You can see the 15s lost the back bumper of the 26 because of that side drafting we talked about a little earlier. Definitely a big factor here at the Super Speedway racing is that side drafting. Careful, you'll get sucked right off the back of the field there if you're doubled up at the back. But so far, everyone able to keep with the pack here on the restart. As Kurdzlek still having the outside command out of the outside row, but as I say that, he will duck down in behind Barnett, and Essery will follow him down there. Now Tyrone Neal will get to the bottom as we have single file back around here under green flag. Now Kurdzlek will get a run on the back of Barnett 38 as he will pull back out and bring Essery and maybe Tyrone Neal with them again. Now it's really command up here. As they only make it to the side of the 75 machine this time out of turn number 2, though they will still go to work on the top side. Side row makes it work as Kurdzlek and Essery now clear the whole inside row. They will drop down in front of Lafano number 8 and take control of the front of this one again through turns 1 and 2. Power move by those two making the top side work. Now they were back at the front of this one down the back straightaway. Will give up the inside row and they will drift back to the back of this one as we kind of have a little bit of a breakaway developing with the first 4 cars. You got Lafano, Rodriguez, Snyder, and Hera leading the way there in the first 4 cars. Then you have a second group of Kurdzlek and Essery caught in the middle, and then behind them Tyrone, Will, James Nelson, and Greg Barnett rounding out the 9-car field here as we work our way off of turn 4 down to the start-finish line. Group of 3 at the back, getting a run to the outside now, led by Tyrone Yo, the 75 of Nelson, and the 38 of Barnett, rather. Looks like Nelson's going to give a big push to the 2 car, might make it to the front of this one. As a couple of cars blinking out there, causing the cameras to go a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Here back though, now Barnett will jump into that outside row, see if he can offer any assistance, as the bottom row though dominates its speed through the corners, as the top seems to be a little faster on the straightaways, but obviously the shortest way around the speedway is that bottom line, and now everyone looking to get back down to it, as Nelson will jump back down to the inside. He'll bring Barnett and Kurgelek through with him. Now Nelson will look to go back to the outside, doesn't get the help he was looking for quite yet, as Barnett will stake it on the yellow line and move past underneath the 75 car. Down into turns 3 and 4, the field goes single file through the front to the back of this one here, as they work their way now out of turn number 4. Field continues to work its way single file here on lap number 31 will be complete at the line, so we'll start working. Lap number 32 continues to lead the way is the number 8 car, Dave Lafano, 27 laps led. With that 28 on lap number Cole Lane, and that number 8 machine continues to pull the field around this 2.66 mile super speedway here early in this one. Back through the trial. We've got a 5-car breakaway here. The cars on the lead lap, running back front and final Rodriguez number 1 done yet. A bit of a gap back to Kurdzlek and Essery and Nelson. And Tyrone Yoten, he is on pit road here. Looks like he had a bit of an issue with, got some contact. We're going to take a look here, see what happened in this replay. Looks like Essery giving a big push to the 2-car, just again gets the bumper unaligned, and then results in the 2-car making hard contact with that outside wall. He's going to get the mechanical black flag, so he'll have to come down. And Tyrone will need to use his fast repair to get that all sorted out. Take another look here. See, just a kind of a bad push from the 4-car there. Just got the 2 cars unaligned, nose to tail, and sent the number 2-car up into the outside wall. Tyrone will sit on pit road. He continues to finish the service. Now he is down and away. Obviously lost the draft, so we'll have 2 cars now, 1 lap down at this point here in the race. Up front though, Dave Lafond continues to be the guy in charge as the 2nd row looks to make a move towards the front of the field here in this one. Led by Nelson, the 75, who is 1 lap down. Kurdzlek and the 4 of Essery, though, all on the lead lap as they work their way down out of turn number 4 through the tri-oval. Still making that second groove work is those 3 cars. A little dicey in on the bottom line with the 7 Rodriguez. Got a little bit out of shape there as they went through the tri-oval. That broke that line up a little bit as Snyder had to get out of it before he ran over Rodriguez. They get themselves sorted back out and back in line as they work their way down the back straightaway. Top side line though seems to have a run and the momentum. 2 of the 3 cars have cleared the Lofano 8, but not them all as they head back down to turn 3 and 4. Now Lofano will be door to door with the 4 of Essery as they work through turns 3 and 4. Bottom side so quick on the bottom through the corners. That's where they make up most of the ground they lose on the straightaways. But I don't think Lofano is going to get up side by side with the driver of the 75. But now Rodriguez will pull out a line as he will go to the middle, look to drop back into a position a little further back. That's going to let Snyder and Hara get by him as they work that inside line. Now they've split themselves up. They got to get themselves back together, get that head of steam back up and going towards the front. Lead car is that 75, but again, 1 lap at the tail end of the lead lap now, as he lost his lap early in this one. Unfortunately, not able to grid with the rest of the cars, as Kurdzlek will be the race leader at this point in his 41, but he has the 4 of Essery on his outside as they work through turns 3 and 4. It's still Essery and Kurdzlek door to door on the exit of turn number 4. At the bottom will get a good run out of turn number 4. Essery up there all by himself, so he's probably going to go the wrong way on a one-way street. He's going to go second to last in the running order here of the cars on track. Work their way back down into turns 1 and 2, still being led by the Nelson 75. The leader of the race though is the 41 of Kurdzlek, Barnett in second. Then you have the 8-car Lofano Snyder's 26 and the 15 of Dave Hara. Your top 5 Rodriguez and Essery 6 and 7. And the 7th place car is, the 8th place car is actually the car in the front of the line here in this one. That is the Nelson Auto Serve 75. Working lap number 36. Will be complete, 38 will be complete this time at the line. We'll have 10 to go before the end of stage number 1. Now the 15 will jump out of line. He'll look to get a little help from Essery 4 on the tail end of the front straight as they work their way down to turns 1 and 2. Again on the top side, Rodriguez looks to join that parade. See if he can offer any assistance to the 2 cars in front of him. Down the back straightaway they go, right up against the outside wall, leaving a big gap between themselves and the inside. As we mentioned, the side draft really slows everyone down, and it doesn't really work out in favor of too many people. But now Snyder will go to the top row, Essery will go to the bottom row. We'll have 3 cars still on the top side, but it's now being led by the Snyder 26, the 15 of Hera and the 7 Rodriguez. They're going to lose all the momentum they once had, and they're going to go towards the back. Now Essery and Lerfana will jump up in front of that top row. See if they can form up and get it going. People coming and going so often that they're not able to use that to their advantage, and they will continue to lose ground to that inside line until they can get themselves nose to tail, and in some kind of orderly fashion will get the momentum built up. But for right now, they seem to have a good run going out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Lerfana will clear the 41. Now he'll clear the 75. He's got Essery right on his back bumper, giving him the big push down into turn 3 and 4. Now Chad Snyder will look to also clear the inside row through 3 and 4 this time. As see if the bottom will get a push off of turn number 4. Now Essery will go to the bottom. Look to make a run on Lerfano here, back down towards the line. Looks like Lerfano's going to have more momentum. No, he'll keep it up top, wound up, and he will lead out the line. Now Essery left high and dry again as everyone went around him as he went to the bottom. Now they're 3 wide for some reason through turns 1 and 2 as Barnett is fending off a challenge from the 41. He's got the 4 on the inside and the 7 working down behind the 4 down the back straightaway. So change up front, Lerfano back to the front of this one with Snyder and Hera in tow. Nelson still 1 lap down again now as he's lost the tail end of the lead lap position. He's back to 1 lap down, but in a position to score the lucky dog on the next caution as long as he's not involved. Had his opportunity earlier, but unfortunately was the involved car with the 38 of Barnett, so lost out on that free pass earlier in this one. Come down to the line, we're going to have 41 laps complete. 7 laps to go before the end of stage 1. Now they're going to go 3 wide again through turns 1 and 2. Snyder on the bottom with Hera's help and Rodriguez's help, and then also 75 on the outside with the 4 of Essery, the 41 of Kurdzak. Lerfano is going to go first to worst here in one corner. Drops in line behind the Barnett 38, and he will join in at the tail end of the lead lap cars rather. Back to 3 and 4. Snyder the leader in this one in that number 26, getting the help from the 15 of Hare and the 7 of Rodriguez. We've got Nelson leading the outside row. They're going to come up to another lap car. That'll be Tyrone Yo, who's going to go 2 laps down at this point after his unscheduled pit stop after his contact with the 4 car. Now at the top side, we'll get clear of the 26. See if they will drop down in 1 and 2. Not able to do so as the bottom runs right back up to the inside of the lead 2. Through turns 1 and 2, they work their way down the back straightaway. Some weeble wobbles as the field gets a little bit out of shape. Get it collected and headed down to turn 3. Turns 3 and 4 this time. Be 3 laps complete at the line. Continue to be the leader here in this one. Looking on the inside, causes that inside row to get all out of shape through halfway down the back straightaway. Now Hare will try to make a block. That almost got bad and quickly. Went wrong quickly there for the 15, but they're able to sort it out. They're 3 wide, 2 rows deep here on lap 44 of 150 as they work their way back down through the start-finish line tri-oval area. The 26 of Snyder continues to be the leader. He's getting a big push from the Rodriguez 7. Barnett getting a good car on the inside. The Speed Society number 38, Camaro. And then Lerfano back into 4th after going to the back of the lead lap cars there a few laps ago. Work their way now back down the back straightaway. Hera and Essery will drop into the bottom side behind Lerfano as Still got a good push going though between the 7 and the 26. Barnett there also seeing if he can hold on to the back of that twosome now. Driving up, goes to the top side through 3 and 4. Esri can't decide what he wants to do. He'll go back to the bottom. He's got the Super Troopers on his outside. Lofano leading the way over Dave Hare there in the 2 black and white LSPD sponsored machines. Now Esri's move to go back to the bottom will benefit him. He'll catapult himself up 2 spots around the Super Troopers in the 4th. Snyder up front though, continuing to lead. Esri will maybe make a look to the outside of Barnett through 1 and 2. Thinks better of that. Tucks back in line on the exit of turn number 2. Now he'll go back to the outside. Doesn't really have any help there in that second line. We'll have to go a little further up to see if he can get some help from the 75. As I say that though, Barnett will jump up in front of the 4 machine and he will get, he will try to offer some assistance as they're going the wrong way though, as the inside powers back through on the bottom. It's still Snyder, Rodriguez. Now it's Lofano and Hara back up to 3rd and 4th. This time at the line will be 46 laps complete. Big run coming from the outside as Barnett and Esri will clear the inside line. Barnett will jump right down to the bottom. He'll bring Esri with them, so change on the top of the scoring pylon as now Barnett will look to lead his first laps of the afternoon. Pit lane closed that time at the start finish line, so 2 laps to go here in stage 1. Business is starting to pick up a little bit. Remember, 10 points awarded to the stage winner in the standings, and then most importantly, the 1 bonus point you carry through into the playoffs if you make it. So 1 playoff point and 10 regular season points on the line for the winner of stage number 1. Off of turn number 4, Barnett peeked up a little bit. That opened the door for the Esri 4, but he thought better of that. Got back in line. Not quite time to make the move yet. Down across the stripe, Barnett leads this one. That's his second one of the afternoon. He's got Esri, Snyder, Rodriguez, and Lofano all in his tire tracks there as they enter turn 1. One lap to go in stage number 1. Snyder and Rodriguez will go to the outside. They'll bring the Super Troopers with them, see if they can make a move here to win stage number 1. Bottom side's got 2 cars. Top side's got 4 cars. So they work their way down through turns 3 and 4. We'll see who has the better run out of turn number 4. Looks like Snyder and Rodriguez should be able to easily clear the 38 of Barnett. Will they drop down in front? No, they will not. They'll stick it out on the high side. As all 4 cars now will be clear. Chad will drop down to the bottom. It's going to open the door for a run for Rodriguez down to the stripe. Looks like Rodriguez is going to pick up the stage win over Chad Snyder. Rodriguez will pick up that stage win. Snyder in second. Lofano, Hara, and Barnett round out the top 5. Then you got the 4 of Esri, the 41 of Courage Leck, the 75 of driver of the 75, James Nelson, and rounding out the field in 9th position is Tyrone Yo. So everyone picking up stage points there in this one with only 9 cars on track. But again, the winner of the stage is the driver of the number 7 machine, as everyone has to slow down and looks like they got to wait for the pace car. So everyone will come to a creepy crawly slow down as there's the pace car just passing them now, as they will now pick up the speed, and pit road should open here first time by. We're going to step away here and be right back on the other side. We'll recover pit stops and bring you the lineup for the restart after this.
AutoServe of Charlestown has been providing trusted, high-quality auto repair and maintenance services in Charlestown, West Virginia. Specializing in everything from routine oil changes and brake repairs to advanced diagnostics, we service both domestic and foreign vehicles with precision and care. Choose AutoServe in Charlestown, your local auto repair expert since 2001. Now let's get back to the action on the track featuring the Quick Finishers Racing League.
Pit stops are complete here at the end of stage one. The race off of pit road, that'll be won by the number 7 of Travis Rodriguez. Chad Snyder, Dave Lafano, Dave Hara will come out 2, 3, and 4. Looks like James Nelson will get the wave around this time, as he will get back on the lead lap for the first time this afternoon. It will be the driver of the number 75 machine. Field continues to work its way around here under caution for the second time on the afternoon. Stage caution though this time, so no accidents brought out the caution. Looks like Tyrone Yo will stay out in front of this one. He will be in front of the leader, so he looked to take a wave around to get himself back only 1 lap down. Should get the wave around this time at the line as we get set to double up to go back racing. Looks like it's going to be Rodriguez and Snyder in row number 1, Lafano and Hara in row 2, Kerslak Barnett in row 3, be Chris Essery and James Nelson in row 4. Again, Nelson finally makes his way back onto the lead lap after missing the original gridding process, resulting in him ending up 1 lap down early in this one. Fought his way back to the front. Caught the draft when they came around to put him a lap down, and then unfortunately involved in the incident off bringing out the first caution, which lost him the chance at the Lucky Dog, so he had to ride it out safe and sound here in the back half of stage 1, and he will get the Lucky Dog reward here on the second caution of the afternoon for the completion of stage 1. As the field forms up double file through turns 1 and 2 onto the back straightaway, we get set to go green flag racing this time out of turn 4. Be 51 laps complete. 99 laps to go here from Talladega Superspeedway. The Alabama Slamma 399 on the SimWorld Racing Network. Race number 10 of the 2025 All-American Racing League Cup Series. So glad you could join us here on this Thursday evening. Just after 9:30 here on the East Coast in the SimWorld Racing Network broadcast studio. We get set to go back racing here in about a quarter of a lap. Control car will be the 7 of Travis Rodriguez. 4 wins on the year so far for the driver out of San Antonio, Texas. Outside him will be the Blues Race Design Toyota Camry Assault Motorsports entry of the number 26. Mineral Virginia's Chad Snyder in that beautiful red and silver number 26. No wins so far this year. Looking to go to victory lane. Picked up the second Talladega race, I believe, last year. So he looks to repeat a Talladega win here. Inside row number 2, that'll be Dave Lafano, I believe, in the number 8 car. Outside him would be Dave Hara. Both their drivers 1 win on the year for each of them. Row 3 will be the 41 of Kerslak and the 38 of Greg Barnett, both looking to pick up their first win of the season. Two-time race winner in the number 4, that is Chris Essery, the 75 of Nelson, back on the lead lap. He also looking for his first win of the season. And Tyrone Yo still 1 lap down, but at the tail end of the field now as the field goes back to green flag racing. It was a stumble, bumble, and rumble down into turn number 1. Barnett will hop down to the bottom there in front of the Essery number 4. Rodriguez will be the leader out front. 2 cars though stuck on the outside, seeing if they can make that work. That's Snyder in the 26 and the 15 of Dave Hara. On the back straightaway here on the first lap of the restart. Looks like Lafano says, I want to lead this one. I've led it for a good portion of the first stage. I want to do it again. He goes to the outside. He's got help from 3 cars pushing him. The 26, the 15, and the 75 on the outside row. The inside row is Rodriguez, Kerslak, Barnett, and Essery this time through 3 and 4. Two cars working together up front have opened up a little bit of a gap between themselves and the car right behind them on the inside rows. They work their way down through the tri-oval. Rodriguez will look to lead his 5th lap of the afternoon, this time at the line. Winner of stage number 1 in a last lap pass to get the win here in stage number 1 at the line for Rodriguez over Chad Snyder. And then it was Lefano and Dave Hare, your top 4 in the first stage. Now the top side's got that line lined up. Snyder was up to the inside, leaves Lefano high and dry, but he's going to get some help from the 15 of Hare this time down into turn 3 and 4. Nelson's a little bit off the back bunker of the 15, about 2 car lengths, closing in on him though on the exit of turn number 4. They work their way down the back straightaway. 53 laps complete at the line, 97 to go in this one. Back to 1 and 2, 2 by 2, 3 rows deep on the top of the off to turn number 2. 15 and 8 now will drop to the bottom. Kurgelek will go up to try to save the 75. They got help from the 4 behind them. Switcheroo, Dunkaroo up front is now Lefano back to the point here with his teammate in the 15, the Super Trooper duo, running out front of this one with Snyder holding on the 3rd, Rodriguez 4th, Barnett battling side by side with Nelson for 5th. Across the straight, 54 laps complete this time, so already 1/3 of the way through this one here as we start clicking off laps. Average lap time roughly around, I'd say 49, 50 seconds is the average lap time here under green for these guys, so clicking them off as quickly as possible here. Still quite a bit of ways to go though, 96 laps to go that time, last time at the line. Their way through turns 3 and 4. 3 cars there, breaking away a little bit from Travis, but he'll close that gap back up on the back of the 26 this time at the tri-oval. Cars on the outside trying hard to make hay while the sun shines. So Nelson 75, the 41 of Kurgelek. They're going to see if they can get some help from the 4 Esri down the back middle. Good run for that group on the top side. They're almost pulled even now with the 2nd place machine down into turn 3 and 4. I don't know if it's a glitch in the matrix, but it looks like the 8 car has lost his rear bumper covers. You can see right into the fuel tank on the back of the 8 car. Not sure it's doing any damage. It's not slowing down any as he continues to lead on the inside road, and he's got company on the outside in the form of the 75 and Nelson this time through 1 and 2. So the 8 leads the way. No tail cover on that one. Must have been a pretty good shot from someone to lose that back bumper cover as they work down the back straightaway. Outside row, though, continues to get a run there through 3 and 4 as it's Kurgelek and Nelson. On the top side, they're getting some help from Esri as they work down through the tri-oval. The inside row going the wrong way here on this lap. Now Kurgelek and the 3 car. Oh no, Esri not able to clear the Lefano 8, so that's going to let the Esri 41 to 75 on Nelson pull down to the bottom line, open up a bit of a gap as Nelson will go from 1 lap down to race leader here on lap number 57 complete. So lap 58 he will lead his first lap, and it'll be 1 lap led on the afternoon for the driver of that number 57 car. their way back down to two, turns 1 and 2. Nelson, Kurtzlek, Alafano, and the 15 of Harrow will go to the outside. They're going to bring the Snyder 26 and the Rodriguez 7 with them, see if they can make this work here down through the trial and back to the start-finish line. Pretty much a dead heat there at the line. Lap's going to be led though by the 8 car of Lafano. Way back down into turn 1 and 2, still 2 wide up front in this one, 2 wide, 2 rows deep. The 15 pushing the 8, the 41 pushing the 75. Just like Esri is in trouble, he's lost the draft here in this one. He is dropping back quick. Up front though, they continue to battle as we got 2 cars, 3 cars on the inside row, 5 cars on the outside row. That's time out of turn number 4. Nelson will get a good run through the trial. We'll see if he can lead this one at the line. He does. Nelson, Fano, Kurtzlek, Hara, the top 4 at the line. Something happened to Esri. He has dropped back and dropping back quick. Already 3.5 seconds off the leader's pace. That time at the line up to 4 seconds already. Works its way back down the back straightaway here under green. Still lap number 60 will go on the board, this time at the start finish line. Hara made a move to get around the car of the number 8 car there, so now Hara will lead that outside row, not getting as much success now as that's kind of bunged up the top row, lost all the momentum on the bottom side, and gets a good roll through 1 and 2. Out of turn number 2, down the back straightaway, the 75 continues to lead without the 41, but here comes a good push from the 15, the 8, and the 26 on the top side. Down into turn 3 and 4, Hara will nose out in front. Ooh, a big push from the 8, and the car got him all out of sorts there behind the 15, so now they've drifted apart, and now they're trying to get it back together as they work down the front straightaway. Will lead at the line. Harris still looking to lead his first lap of the afternoon. If he can do it, 8 of the 9 drivers on the track will have led here at Talladega. So far this afternoon, 7 different leaders. Nelson, Kurtzlek, Fano, Snyder, Rodriguez, Barnett, and Esri all have led at least 1 lap up to this point. Down the front straightaway, Hara in a position to try to score that lap lead again. Down through the trial, he gets a push from the 8 car, see if he's got enough to edge him out at the line. Looks like he does. Hara will lead the lap. Hara will lead lap number 62. Still side by side up front between the 15 and the 75. Both getting help from drivers behind them respectively. Again, 5 cars working in that outside line, only 3 on the inside. Down at the stripe that time. Going to be back in the hands of James Nelson with that lap as they hit the start finish line. Back down through turns 1 and 2 they go. getting a little pushy-shovey there on the outside line between Super Troopers 15 and 8. They get themselves sorted back out, kind of caused a gap between the two of them, but they get that sorted out and tightened back up as they work down the back straightaway. Still side by side for a good majority of this stage since we went back racing here on lap. We're on lap number 65. We went back racing around lap number 50, so 15 or so laps into this stage. We are working here towards lap number 96, where we will end stage number 2 at the completion of lap 96. Now the inside row clears the outside row as we see if those guys will drop back down in line behind them as they work off of turn number 2. They do. Single file is the whole field there, 1 through 8 on your screen. Actually, 1 through 7 with Tyrone back on pit road, so he'll come down Pat Road as he will need a top up of fuel, I'm assuming. So we only got 7 cars there running together in formation. And then you have Chris Essery, who has gone about half a lap down already at this point, as he works his way now just into turn number 3 and 4 as the field runs across the start finish line. 75 to 41, Kurdzak second, David Lafano, Chad Snyder, your top 5, Travis Rodriguez and Greg Barnett, the other car, running with this group up front. Push on the back of the 75 from the driver of the 41. Lets off a little bit down into turn 3 to not collect them both as they work their way around the yellow line here on turns 3 and 4. Back out of 4 into the stripe. Bono had to grab a big handle wheel that time, got a little loose off of turn number 2. No harm, no foul though, as he stays in that 4th position between Hera and Snyder as they work down through 3 and 4. The field is going to catch back up to Tyrone, put him another lap down. It'll be 3 laps down to the leader at, 2 laps down to the leader at this point. He's going to come down and make a pit stop there earlier than everyone else as he stayed out during the stage break to try to get one of his 2 laps back down. So didn't get that caution he needed, and he will be again 2 laps down at this point to the leader. Hopefully able to tag on to the tail of this group and keep in the draft so he doesn't go any further down. Still on the lead lap, but over a half lap behind is that number 4 of Esri. He is just working himself down the back straightaway now as the field gets to the start finish line, as they will approach turn number 1 as he just approaches turn number 3. See the gap on the track map on the right hand side as the 8th number, the car with the 8 on it, that's the 8th place driver, Chris Esser. You can see how far behind he is by losing the draft earlier in the stage. Still the top three continue to be Nelson, Kurdzlek, Hara, Lafano, Schneider, Rodriguez, and Barnett. The top seven. They work their way again back down into turn 3 and 4 here. 70 complete of the 150. We slowly make our way to the halfway point of this one. The Alabama Slamma 399 on the SimWorld Racing Network. Race number 10 of the 2025 All-American Racing League Cup Series. Here from Talladega, Alabama, the Talladega Superspeedway as they come back down to the stripe. 71 laps to be complete that time after Ryan Nelson leading his 13th lap of the afternoon. Again, if you missed the start of this one, pole sitter James Nelson not able to grid in time to miss the start of the race, resulting him going one lap down in stage 1. Got a caution, but was part of it, so lost the lucky dog on that caution, then caught a second caution at the end of stage 1, propelling himself back onto the lead lap. And at this point here, we are now leading this one in the middle part of stage number 2. Whoa, looks like the 15 tried to get back down into the bottom line. Not able to, as the 41 and the 15 had closed, or sorry, the 8 had closed that gap up. So now Harris stuck on the outside. He's got some help though in the form of Tyrone Yo's number 2, the Harley Davidson University of Pittsburgh Medical Center Ford Mustang on that bumper there of the 15. They work through the outside of turns 1 and 2 up front forward. Continues to be James Nelson at Kurdzlek, where Fano and Snyder now will be in 3rd and 4th. But Hara there battling back on the outside again with the help of the lap car Tyrone Yo. Travis Rodriguez there running in the 6th spot, looking to go 3 for 3 on the year at Super Speedways. Pick up his 5th win of the 2025 season along the way. Already doubled his win total from last year. Had 2 wins on the 2024 season. Already 4 under his belt this year. Wins coming at Daytona, Atlanta, and the 3rd race of the year. Can't remember where it was, but he won that one too. Let me take a look. Oops, wrong button. That was at the Circuit of the Americas. So Rodriguez started the year 3 for 3. Hara picked up the win when we made it out to Phoenix. Ken Pack hit Snake Eyes and won at Las Vegas. Esri smoked him at Homestead. Martinsville win. Another dominating performance in that one. That was Dave Lafano's first win of the year. Travis Rodriguez went back to victory lane 3 weeks ago at Darlington, and Chris Esri got his 2nd win on the 2025 season last week. 2 weeks ago at Bristol. Off last week for the Easter break, and back at it here tonight from Talladega. After a 3-week hiatus off the air for the SimWorld Racing Network, happy to be back here with you tonight at Talladega as Nelson and Kurdzlek continue to lead the way here up front in this one. 2 quick finishers Racing League drivers controlling this one here, and the middle part of this one as we are just about halfway through the 150 lap 400-mile event here from Talladega. Just while we have the Quick Finishers Racing League on our mind, join us tomorrow night on the SimWorld Racing Network as we go on the air at 10 to 8 as we bring you the event tomorrow for them here from Talladega. The QFRL Rocks 249 presented by AutoServe. We'll go green flag around 5 minutes after 8:10 as we're going to start to see some pit stops as the second back half of the group will come down to pit road. So being led by Hara, Lafano, Snyder, Barnett, and Rodriguez. Ooh, they make some contact on pit road, do they? But they are on pit road and bringing it down to their pit crew. Normally here on the Super Speedways might be fuel only pit stops, as the need for tires is not as important here on the fast big half miles. So no cars going up in the air from what we can see, so it looks like it is going to be fuel only for these pit stops. The race off of pit road will be won by Dave Hare, Lafano, then Snyder. Rodriguez and Barnett will trail behind, hopefully not too far back that they lose the draft, but 2 cars still on track having to pit on the lead lap, as Esri will now go 1 lap down there while we are away watching the pit stops. Esri has now unfortunately 1 lap off the pace at this point, as in front of him now is Tyrone Yo, 2 laps down. So 2 cars off the lead lap here, 7 cars still on the lead lap. The race being led by Nelson 75 and Kurdzlek's 41 in second spot, though they have to come down to pit road here to make it to the end of stage number 2. Everyone else has already done that, and they're about 3/4 of a speedway behind them. Pack's kind of broken up if we take a look at it, as Hera and Lorfano, there's Hera, Lorfano and Snyder are able to join up. But then if we look a little further back, running in no man's land is Rodriguez, and then further behind him is Barnett. So not all able to get off pit lane together as a group has cost the back 2 cars, as they have fallen off from the other 3. As we continue to watch the lead group here, they'll continue under green flag here in this one. Take a look here. Everyone last on pit road at lap number 49. Let's see the stint lengths. So those guys went 26 laps before they came down to pit road, and these guys are already working on lap number 28 in this run since we went back green. So know for sure they can go at least 30, because that's how far they went in stage number 1. And we will see how far they go here in stage number 2. And they are headed down pit road. Let's see if they can all make it on safely and under the pit speed limit. They do, from what I can see. So we'll keep an eye here on the cars that pitted earlier and see how far they can get around and see if they are able to get back by these guys. You can see the number 3 dot on the track map. That is currently 3rd place driver Dave Hare, but he's the first of that second group of cars, so he works his way through turn 3 and 4. Looks like the 75 of Nelson is going to take at least right side tires, and now he's going to take left side tires, so I don't think this is going to work out too well in his favor. Doesn't lose too much time though, but here comes the leaders, or the second group of cars, at full song as they work their way down through the tri-oval. They're going to pass the 4, they're going to pass the 75, and now past the 41 as they work their way down through turns 1 and 2. Snyder gets a little bit low there below the yellow line, but no harm, no foul, able to keep it going in the right direction. But now you can see there's the gap between the 2 groups after pit stop, so we'll see if that second group of cars is able to close that gap to the lead pack here over the last 17 laps of the stage. So working their way down through 3 and 4 are the first 3 cars, being led by Dave Hare, then Lorfano and Chad Snyder, 2nd and 3rd. The tough part of racing here at Talladega, if you get a poor green flag pit stop, you are in trouble. And you can see that playing out, as you can see Rodriguez and Barnett have lost a ton of on-track time to everyone else in front of them. They are sitting 14 seconds behind the leaders respectively, as they have lost a bunch of time in that pit stop sequence. Hopefully though, with only 17 laps to go here in stage number 2, they're able to stay on the lead lap and get back with the front group of cars under caution. We'll see how it plays out though here this time under green flag. So you got Hare, Lorfano, Snyder, then it's 9 seconds back to Kurdzlek and Nelson, then it's 15 seconds back to Rodriguez and Barnett. And then Chris Essery still 1 lap down, and Tyrone Yo 1 lap down also at this point, as Tyrone had to make a stop earlier in the stage, so we're not sure if he can make it to the end without stopping again, but should be able to, I would imagine. Let's take a look here. We'll hide this. We'll bring this up. We'll do 10 cars. So Tyrone was last on pit road at lap 64, so he's got to go 64 to 70, the end of lap 96. So be pretty close. I think he's already got 16 laps in, and about 16 or so more to go, so it'll be about 32 laps. So not sure if he can make it that full distance, but we're going to find out here. To see if he can make it to the end of the stage without having to come down pit road again. So again, that's the lead three, then about a 8-second gap back to these three cars. That's Kurdzilek, Nelson, and Chris Essery. Unfortunately, Essery one lap down, but in a position to get the lucky dog on the next caution as long as he's not part of it. And then a little further back from them, another 7 seconds back from them, you have the 7 and the 38 of Rodriguez and Barnett. Again, just had slower pit stops, which didn't let them stay with the first three, Hare, Lafano, and Snyder, so they lost a ton of track down, but 16.5 seconds now behind the leaders here in this one. Fourth and fifth, Kurdzilek and Nelson not really losing any ground at this point, just kind of maintaining about 8.2, 8.3 seconds off these leaders. Obviously they have help from the Essery number 4, so two groups of 3 should be pretty even out here on track. Unfortunately, Rodriguez and Barnett, only 2 of them together, and they are losing time to the leaders again. With only, with 83 laps complete, looking for the end of 96. It took 13 laps to go in this stage roughly. We'll see if Rodriguez and Barnett are able to hold on to their lead lap, and then the caution will allow them to join the tail end of the field once it comes out. So we'll see how that all plays out here over the next 12 or so laps to the end of the stage. We're right now 84 laps completed. It's Dave Hare leading Lafano and Snyder, Kurdzilek and Nelson 4th and 5th. And again, Rodriguez and Barnett 6th and 7th. Essery holding on to 8th, and Tyrone Yo last on the scoring pylon right now, sitting in the 9th position. Fastest lap on the afternoon so far, with the 1 bonus point in play. That's the 4-car Chris Essery, a 49.747 so far, the quickest lap on the afternoon for the driver of that number 4 Rhesus machine. Up front we got 2 Chevrolets, then a Toyota, then 3 Fords and a Chevrolet, then 2 Fords bringing up the rear. So 5 Fords, 3 Chevrolets, and 1 Toyota in the field here this afternoon here as we complete 85 laps, 65 to go that time at the line. This is about an hour and 20 minutes old, and we got about 65 laps to go here just after 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time from the SimWorld Racing Network studios. You're watching the Alabama Slamma 399 All-American Racing League Cup Series here. Well, we got a quick second. Let's take a look at the points after 9 races here. We'll go in. We got to load those points up. Just bear with me here. We'll get them up on the screen in a second. So we'll take a look here at the points coming into this one. Oops, that's not going to help. Maybe this will. Mike Kurdzilek leads the way by 8 points over Chris Essery with 4:08. Then a big gap back to Travis Rodriguez is 3:79. Ken Pack with 3:57. Unfortunately not in the race tonight, sitting in 4th. Dave Lafano looking to capitalize on Ken Peck not being here, sitting in 5th with 3:50. James Nelson in 6th with 3:45. David Harris 3:41 in 7th. Chad Snyder 3:04 in 8th. Greg Barnett 2:97 in 9th. And then Ryan Steinhoff also not here tonight with 282 points, rounding out the top 10. Tyrone Yo sits in 12th with 264, with Sobern and Steinhoff not here tonight. Look for Tyrone to make a couple spots here in the points, but that is the point standings after 9 races here in the 26 race regular season before we reset and go racing in the playoffs in the fall. But for now, we are here at Talladega Superspeedway working on lap number 88 of 150. Continues to be the 15 of Dave Carolina the way over Lafano, Snyder, Kerslek, Nelson, Rodriguez, and Barnett continuing to lose ground, and Kerslek and Nelson and the group with Esri all making up time as they've got that gap down from about 8 seconds to 6.4 seconds here in this one. So definitely making some time up on the first 3 cars is the Kerslek machine, the Nelson machine, and the Esri machine. Up front continues to be Dave Hara leading Dave Lafano and the 26 of Chad Snyder. Dave Lafano has a back bumper again, so not sure. He used his fast repair on that pit stop, so that is why that bumper has reappeared. So Dave Lafano has used his fast stop, third driver on the afternoon, to use it, as well as Greg Barnett and Tyrone Yo. Both were involved in incident in one way or the other. They have used their fast repair also. So at the super speedways this year, Talladega, Atlanta, and Daytona, 1 fast repair for all the drivers in the field. Every other race though, no fast repair, so gotta be careful out there. Don't want to ruin that car too early in the race. But here at the super speedways, with the chaos that can ensue, no fast repairs for the drivers here in these events, or 1 fast repair rather in these events. As that second group though continues to close the gap down to about 5.5 seconds there for the group of Kerslek, Nelson, and Esri. Esri's kind of dropped off the back of the Nelson 75, so that timer is actually going in the other direction now. They're losing a bit of ground here in this one as they work their way through turns 3 and 4. It's about 5.6 seconds. The difference between these guys and the group in front of them. You can kind of see them up there in the distance. That is the distance between 3rd and 4th there on your screen as we complete lap number 90 this time at the line. On board the Gamer Tube Elite spoiler cam, riding out the back of the 15 car, looking into the soul of Dave Lafano. There in that number 8, and then he bumps up a little. You can see the 26 of Chad Snyder, big bump from the 8 down into turn number 3 and 4. They work still single file around the double yellow line here on the inside of the speedway. The QFRL roof cam on the top of the Tumber 26. Blues Race Design, Assaults Motorsports. Toyota. Down the back straightaway they go. As we get closer to the end of stage number 2 here at Talladega, we'll see at what point Dave Lafano says it's go time. As we have 4 laps to go in the stage at the line this time. Still a pretty big gap between themselves and the back of the Barnett 38. So they should be able to stay on the lead lap and get rid of this gap once we go back racing. We'll keep an eye on that though here as we continue to go over the last handful of laps here in stage number 2. As those 2 cars just crossing the start-finish line as these guys head down into turn number 3 and 4. So no real worry, I don't think, for Barnett or Rodriguez about losing a lap here at the end of stage number 1, as the gap is pretty handily in their favor rather. So we will continue to watch the laps click off as we complete 93 this time at the line. 3 to go in the stage. See if Chad's setting himself up to make an attack on the 2 cars in front of him. Obviously, better to have a little bit of help, but I don't think he's going to be content with just riding around and finishing 3rd in the stage. Knowing Chad's mentality, he will at some point make a move, and so will the driver of that number 8 car, Dave Rafano. Back down through turn 3 and 4, closing quickly on the tail of the number 2 car. That is Tyrone Yo. After making another pit stop here in stage number 2. Back to 2 laps down. Unfortunately, we'll lose a 3rd lap this time once the leaders get by him as they come through a tri-oval. Tyrone will go to the high side, opening the door for these guys to get through on the bottom pit road. Has closed 2 to go in stage number 2. No difference in the gap between 2nd or 3rd and 4th. It's still sitting about 5 seconds between Kurdzlek and Snyder, so that gap is holding strong. So no worries of them catching up and getting in a battle here at the end of the stage. But we'll see how it plays out for the 3 cars up front. Dave Hara, Dave Rafano, and Chad Snyder 1, 2, 3. This time off of turn 4. There'll be 1 to go in stage number 2. See who's going to be the first one to make the move. It's going to be Rafano or Snyder here on this last lap. Down the back straightaway, still single file, 1st through 3rd. Tyrone Yo here hanging out at the back of this group, able to tag on to the tail end of the draft. He's going to try to stay out of the way here as we come out of turn number 3 and 4, down to the green and white checker to end stage number 2. Chad will go to the 2nd groove, see if he can get a run. Nothing happening though, as Dave Hare will pick up the win in stage number 2. Dave Rafano, Chad Snyder 2nd and 3rd. We'll take a look a little further back to Kurdzlek and James Nelson as they come out of turn number 4. Caution is out as the completion of stage number 2. Looks like Kurdzlek is missing his bumper. Not sure what happened there, but another car with no bumper. 3rd caution of the afternoon from Talladega. Only 1 caution for incidents. This is the 2nd stage caution as we end stage number 2 here. Looking to pick up the pace car this time at the start-finish line is the driver of the number 15 machine. That is Dave Hara picking up the stage 2 win over Dave Rafano, Chad Snyder, James, I think Mike Kurdzlek. Yeah, so it's Hara, Rafano, Snyder, Kurdzlek, 75 of Nelson, the 7 of Rodriguez, the 38 of Barnett, the 4 of Essery, 1 lap down in a position to get the lucky dog, so he will get back on the lead lap. Then the 2 of Tyrone Yo will be your 9 cars finishing stage number 2. The field works its way now, caught up to the pace car. They work their way through turn number 3 and 4. They'll head down pit road this time. Fill that fuel tank full of gas and 4 fresh Goodyear tires for all these guys. While that happens, we're going to take a step away. We'll be back on the other side, reset the field for the restart and the run to the finish for the 3rd and final stage here from the Alabama Slamma 399 at the Talladega Superspeedway. You're watching the SimWorld Racing Network's presentation of the All-American Racing League Series, and we'll be right back after this message.
If your engine isn't performing as it should, AutoServe in Charlestown, West Virginia, has the expertise to diagnose and repair the issue. Whether it's a rough idle, oil leaks, overheating, or a sudden loss of power, our skilled mechanics will provide accurate diagnostics and reliable repairs. We handle everything from routine maintenance to complete engine rebuilds, ensuring your vehicle runs smoothly and efficiently. Keep your car road ready. Call AutoServe today to schedule your engine service. Now let's get back to the action on the track featuring the Quick Finishers Racing League.
Welcome back to the Talladega Superspeedway as you're watching the SimWorld Racing Network's presentation of the All-American Racing League here from Talladega. The Alabama Slamma 399 is the race you are watching, race number 10 of the 2025 season. So glad we could have you along here with us this afternoon, this evening, wherever you're joining us from. So happy you are on. We are on the air with you tonight. We are looking at about just past 10:15 on the East Coast. The field is getting itself all situated behind the pace car. Should be getting the 1-to-go signal this time out of turn number 4 as we'll get set to go back racing for the third and final stage here of this one this afternoon. Dave Hare will be the control car. Outside him will be Dave Lorfano, second row actually. Chad Snyder and James Nelson. Row 3 will be Travis Rodriguez, Greg Barnett. Row 4 will be the 41 of Michael Kurdzlek and Tyrone Yo. Then Chris Essery will join a tail of the field after taking the wave around. Join at the tail end of the longest line of this field. Only 9 cars unfortunately here tonight making the race, so small field, but exciting action so far here in this one. Only 1 caution for incident, 2 stage break cautions as we get set to go back racing. Looks like the 15 of Hera is going to elect to start from the outside. Leader has choice inside or outside. The 15 will go to the outside on this restart, so that'll put Lorfano on the inside, Hera on the outside, Snyder and Nelson in row 2. Rodriguez and Barnett will make up row number 3. Then Kurdzlak will join the tail end of the field here, as well as Chris Esser just getting caught up here as the field works its way off at turn number 2. These guys just kind of heading through 1 and 2, so we'll definitely have the time to get to where they need to get to before we go back racing. But again, Lorfano on the inside will be the second place car. Race leader on the outside, that'll be the 15 of Dave Hera. Chad Snyder, James Nelson in row 2. Rodriguez and Barnett make up row 3. Then you should see the 41, a Kurdzlek slot in on the inside of row number 4. Outside him will be Tyrone Yo, who is 3 laps down at this point, unfortunately for Tyrone. Then the 4 car, Chris Essery, joining at the tail end of the lead tail end of the longest line after getting the wave around here on this latest caution. We'll come back to green with 100 laps completely, 50 lap dash to the end. Keeping in mind these cars will have to make at least 1 pit stop during the stage. Longest we've seen anyone go is about 30-ish laps. So definitely we'll have to make a pit stop here before the end of this one. Pit stops definitely threw a wrench into the order there on that last caution as things got all jumbled up. Guys didn't get off of pit road in a timely manner and lost the graft from the cars in front of them. So we get set to go back racing here. 100 laps complete this time at the line. 50 to go out of the trial. One of the Geico restart zone. Control cars. The driver, the number 15, Dave Hare, green flag backed out, and he will get the jump on the outside. Down across the start-finish line. Can't change lanes until you get there. And he does just that. He'll drop down in front of the 8 of Lorfano, as that'll be Lorfano, Snyder, and Rodriguez on the inside behind him. Nelson on the outside by himself. He's got no help quite so far through turns 1 and 2. Now Kurdzlek will go up there, see if he can offer any kind of assistance and get that top row moving. But up front, Stefano giving a big push rather to the 15 down the back straightaway. So Hera, 23 laps led so far on the afternoon for him. Lafano 38. Snyder 4, Rodriguez 5, 2 for Barnett, 1 for Essery, who's now back on the lead lap after losing the draft midway through stage number 2. 19 laps led for James Nelson and 8 for Kurdzlek. The only driver on track not to lead the lap, unfortunately, so far this afternoon. Driver of the number 2 car, 3 laps off the pace, Tyrone Hill, sitting there in 9th. As we continue to work here under green flag, back in stage number 3, 49 laps to go this time as we make the run to the checkers here at Talladega. Away, still single file for most of the field. 2 wide there, a little further back, and Nelson and Kurdzlek trying to get that outside groove going. No luck so far as they are sitting side by side with a couple cars at the back of the pack, but as things develop here, they now get back in line. See how this all plays out here over the last part of this one. Continues to lead. Lafano, Snyder, Rodriguez, Barnett. Top row, though, forming up in the form of 4 cars. Kurdzlek, Essery, and Nelson. But now Tyrone Hill will drop back down to the inside. So they'll lose a bit of pushing power that outside row does as they work their way back down through the trioval, completing lap number 104. That's at the moment. A little bit of progress as they inch their way up now. Side by side with the driver in 3rd. That's Chad Steiner on the inside, outside push from Esser, so they've got a bit of ground covered. Now they make a good run through the top side. Should have a good run down the front straightaway as the top line seems to have all the momentum on the straightaways. The bottom line will make up time here through the bottom side of the travel. We'll see who leads at the line. Looks like it's going to be Essery though. Kurdzlek, as the top 3 have cleared the inside row. Will they drop down to the front? Not all of them, as Essery and Kurdzlek do. Oh, that was a close one there for the 75. He's able to squeak it in front of Dave Hera. I'm sure Dave is not very pleased with that late move, but now Nelson will go back to the outside. He's going to get help from the 41. Essery will be the first car on the inside row as they will get a good run down the inside of the back straightaway. Works its way down through the trioval rather. Essery still continues to lead. He'll go to the outside now as the inside row got a good push back down towards the straight. Essery can lead his 2nd lap of the afternoon. Things are getting a little tighter here at the front, as now 2 lines going strong on the inside and the outside there. 3 cars on the top, 5 cars on the bottom. Esri still leads the way, pulling that outside line. He's going to go back down to the bottom in front of the Dave Hara 15. Cut a run out that was coming from them through the corner. It's going to leave Kurdzalek and Nelson high and dry on the outside, but they are going to try to make a push back down through the tri-oval. The 4th place car, Snyder, has lost the back bumper of Lurfano in that melee. Again, the side draft coming into effect there with those 2 outside cars right down on the inside row, forcing them to, causing them to slow down rather, not forcing them, causing them to slow down. Back down through 1 and 2 single file now for all the cars on track. Work their way down the back straightaway. Turns 3 and 4, S3 continues to lead the 108 laps rather complete at the line. Esri continues to lead over Hara, Lurfano, Snyder, Barnett, Kurdzalek. Looking to change that as they make it on the outside. Continue to work under green flag. 38 laps to go at the line. Still Esri, excuse me, leading the way. Hara, Lurfano, Schneider, 2, 3, and 4 on the inside. Got a second row developing a little further back with Barnett, Kurdzlek, and Nelson, the boys of the QFRL, looking to make a run to the front of this field here in this one. Still lots of time to go. 38 laps, as I mentioned, left in this one.
let's talk about steering and suspension. This dynamic duo does more than just keep your ride smooth, they're critical for safety and control. The suspension absorbs road bumps, while the steering system ensures you can navigate with precision. If you're feeling vibrations, uneven tire wear, or a rough ride, it's time for a checkup. Proper maintenance can prevent costly repairs and keep you driving safely. Stay in control, schedule your steering and suspension service today. Now let's get back to the action on the track featuring the Quick Finishers Racing League.
Welcome back to the Talladega Motor Speedway here. Still 17 laps to go in this one. No change in the running order. Up front, still Travis Rodriguez leading the way over Greg Barnett, Dave Hare, Dave Lafano, Chad Snyder, the top 5 in the breakaway group. Back to Kurdzlek, Mike Kurdzlek in 6th, Chris Essery in 7th, James Nelson in 8th, and Tyrone Yo 3 laps down, running in the 9th position. So the battle for the win is going to come out of this group of 5 unless we have a caution that's going to tighten the field back up. But for right now, these are the cars to watch here over the last portion of this last race with 16 to go, as the winner is going to come from this group. Unless something happens up front and an 8-second difference between the leader and the 6th place car rather closes. But for now, we'll keep an eye on these guys as this race comes down to the final 15 laps at the line next time. Down the back straightaway, less than 15 laps to go here in this one before we crown a winner. Mr. Super Speedway continues to lead this one out front. Travis Rodriguez over Greg Barnett. The Super Troopers run 3rd and 4th, and Chad Snyder holds on to 5th. When is the right time to make the move is what most of the top 5 is thinking. Not Travis Rodriguez. He's happy with everyone riding behind him, but everyone in the top 5 outside of Travis is planning their attack. That'll happen soon. Through turns 1 and 2, the top 5 make their way onto the back straightaway. Single file wobbling and weaving down the back straightaway. Still Rodriguez, Barnett, Hare, Lerfano, Snyder down into your living room. Turns 3 and 4. It'll be 10 to go at the line for Travis Rodriguez. 26.6 miles left to cover here in the Alabama Slamma 399 on the Sim World Racing Network. My name, as always, Nathan Christensen, the voice of the All-American Racing League Cup Series, bringing you the final 10 laps in race number 10 of the 2025 season. Again, Rodriguez looking to go back to victory lane for the 5th time this season. Greg Barnett looking to pick up his first ever All-American Racing League Cup Series win. Dave Lerfano and Dave Hare both looking to pick up win number 2 on the year. And don't cut out that 26 machine. Chad Snyder looking for his first win of 2025. Picked up the 2nd Talladega race last year here in this one, locking himself into the playoffs. Big win for Chad last year, picking up that first win on the season, locking himself into the playoffs. But the winner of the first Talladega race was the 7 car of Travis Rodriguez. So Travis has the momentum, and the good runs going so far this year has had a few incidents involved in a few incidents in races, easy for me to say, that has caused him some grief and aggravation outside of those 4 wins. But when he's won, he's done it in exciting fashion. Looking to do the same here tonight on his 5th win of the year, potentially on the books for the season. Starting to see a little separation maybe between these cars as they start to plan their attack again. 4 of these 5 cars need to make a move to get the victory lane. One of them just has to hold on to the wheel and hope and pray he ends up first. But for now, 8 laps to go. No one's making a move quite yet. Probably won't happen till about 2 or 1 to go roughly here in this one. But they continue to work single file out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Taking a look at the fastest lap of the race, that's still being held by the driver of the number 4 car, Chris Essery, with a 49.747, looking to claim that 1 bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, and in good position at this point to do it. As you can see, the 2 cars have broken away a little bit from the other 3. Some good hard pushing from the 38s opened up that gap as he pushes the 7 away from the other 3 cars, but that might put the other 3 in a good position to get a strong run back up to them and make that move around the outside. You know, the 38 and the 7 aren't going to give up the bottom easily, so they're going to have to do it the hard way and go around the top as they close the gap right back up to the back of the Barnett. 38 does the 3 cars in the back half of the top 5, but they are not making that move quite yet. 7 to go. Lap time at the line will be 6 this time out of turn number 4. This time at the line, 6 to go for Rodriguez. and Barnett in second. Still Hera, then Lurfano and Snyder. Down into turn number 3 and 4 they go. Still single file through the top 5. Down to the start finish line. It'll be 5 to go this time. $13 left in this one as the gap opens up again between second and third, about 4 to 5 car lengths. Again, not the ideal situation, I don't think, for the front two. If those three can get hooked up and get a good run back up to them and make that move to the outside, that could be the winning move here this afternoon. But right now they're closing that gap as they head down into turn 3 and 4. Again, they're going to have to do it the long way. They're going to force themselves. Going to be forced to go around the outside rather, as Rodriguez and Barnett probably will not give up that yellow line. That's the shortest way around this 2.66 mile super speedway, and that's the way you want to bring it around unless they get a good run and you have to go to block. But for right now, it continues to be Rodriguez. 4 to go this time. Top 5 all within a half a second of each other, so don't count any of them out. Again, lots on the line here. A 5th win for Rodriguez. A first ever All-American Racing League win for Barnett. Win number 2 for either Dave's in the field, and first win in 2025 for Chad Snyder. Down the back straight, a big bump coming from the 38 to the 7 that time, down into turn number 3. Here goes Dave Hare to the outside. Doesn't have any help quite yet, so he's in no man's land up there by himself. Now Lurfano will go up to the top groove, but that's going to open up the gap for the 26 on the bottom, and he's going to draw up to the back of the 38 car. Did the Super Troopers make the move too early? They are 2 by 2 at the back of the top 5. Now they're going to try to get themselves sorted out. Ooh, a push from the 38 to the 7 gets everyone a little bit squirrely up front. Now they're going to drive away again, open a gap. Now we're going to have the 15 and the 8 on the outside. Snyder still losing ground on the inside because of the side draft. Down the back straightaway they go. Gap opening up now from second to third. Sitting at about, I don't know, 7 to 8 car lengths this time through 3 and 4. Lurfano ditches Super Trooper teammate Dave Hara. He'll go back to the bottom, work with Snyder. But there's a gap now of about half a second between first and third. Now Snyder and Lurfano, though, going to close that gap right back up with the help of Dave Hara here with 2 to go that time at the line. This one still in the hands of the 7 cars. They work their way through turns 3 and 4. Now everyone tightened back up. The top 4 at least are nose to tail out of turn number 2. Hare's going to get a good run now on the back straightaway. He's going to try to draw right back up to the back of Lurfano. Barnett goes to work again on the back bumper of that number 7. A big push coming down into turn 3 and 4. Things are getting squirrely and whirly up front here at Talladega. Out of turn number 4 they come. Still leading the way is Travis Rodriguez over Greg Barnett, Chad Snyder, Dave Lurfano, and Dave Hare. Now the top 5. Hare will go back to the outside. Doesn't have any help up there yet. They come to the line. 1 to go. This time for Travis Rodriguez. 2.6 miles before we crown a winner at Talladega. Down through turns 1 and 2. It's all Rodriguez up front. Got some help from Barnett's 38. Nothing really developing quite yet behind him in the form of the Snyder 26 or the Lurfano 8. Still single file at the halfway point of the back straightaway. The 7 getting the push from the 38 down into turn number 3 and 4. Still single file all the way through the top 5. Here we go, down to the stripe. Lurfano and Snyder go to the outside. Barnett pushing Rodriguez hard. At the line, it's going to be Rodriguez picking up win number 5. Believe second went to Chad Snyder, third to Greg Barnett. Dave Lurfano and Dave Hare round out your top 5. Fifth looks like it is going to be a battle between Kurjalek, Nelson, and Esri here. Off of turn number 4 they come. Kurjalek leads the way in 6th. 7th is Nelson. Side by side is the 2 and the 4. Looks like Kurjalek is going to get that position over Nelson and then Esri. And Fort Tyrone will come home in 9th place, and I put the winner for the 5th time on the season. Mr. Super Speedway Travis Rodriguez goes back to victory lane. We'll get a word here with a few of the drivers in 1 second. Hey, Greg, it's Nathan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, yeah, I got you, brother.
Big 3rd place for you tonight, pushing Travis to that win. I'm sure he's very thankful, but a strong run nonetheless for you there in 3rd spot.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, Juggles, he backed up to me. I put too much fuel in on that first pit stop, and he backed up to me, so we worked together good. And I was either going to push him to the win or blow it up. It was running hot.
Well, it looks like you pushed him to the win, so that's the best of those 2 options, and hopefully we'll continue the momentum into next week. And it was great talking to you and a great run for you, Greg.
I appreciate it, Nate. You have a good night, brother.
Thank you. You too. All right, that was 3rd place finisher, a driver of the number 38, Greg Barnett. We'll see if we can get a winner with 2nd place, Chad Snyder. Chad, it's Nathan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Big 2nd place finish for you tonight by about a half a car length there at the line, but can't be too disappointed with 2nd, I don't think.
I mean, yeah, yes and no. We were game planning that run there at the end, and yeah, I was trying to kind of build a gap there on the backstretch on that last lap and try to get a run on Juggles and Greg there coming to the line, and just we couldn't get formed up good enough to get any good forward momentum, and ended up P2. But all in all, a really solid day for us after a disaster at Bristol. So to finish, P2 in stage 1, P3 in stage 2, and then coming away 2nd. I'm happy with that.
All right, well, a good points night for you, and we'll hopefully continue to talk to you here after Texas next week.
Appreciate it, man. Good to have you back.
No problem. Thanks a lot, Chad.
Good night.
All right, that was 2nd place finisher Chad Snyder. Now we'll get a word with Mr. Super Speedway himself, Travis Rodriguez. Hey, Travis, it's Nathan up in the booth. You got a copy?
What's going on, buddy?
5 wins on the year. We're going to start calling you Mr. Super Speedway because no one can beat you when we get to these big, fast tracks, so that's got to be pretty cool.
Oh, dude, it's an accident entirely. I say that. No, I mean, having the super speedways kind of in my back pocket is kind of nice at the moment. Being able to just kind of, I know what I want to do at super speedways. That's the nice thing. So having this kind of, I guess, knack for super speedway stuff is kind of cool.
Well, it's been good so far. Like I said, 5 wins on the year. Known in the past to be a road course guy. You got a road course win this year, but super speedways are what's your mainstay this year. But happy to see you in victory lane again. Hopefully we can continue to talk to you. Hopefully you've got the bad luck out of the way. Had a couple of rough runs in between those wins earlier this year, but headed back in the right direction for sure.
Oh, definitely, dude. I mean, the Darlington one this season is definitely my favorite. That's a track that I happened to be fast at last season with a lesser equipment. I got better stuff, and I was still fast there. So I will take it. The Donington win is definitely my favorite this season, though. So far.
All right. Well, hopefully there's more to come, and we can keep talking to you here in AARL Victory Lane. Congrats again, Travis, and we'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was
Really
that was tonight's winner, Travis Rodriguez, again picking up his 5th victory of the 2025 season. So congrats to him on that. As Chad said, a great run for him after a disappointing run a couple weeks ago at Bristol, and then Greg Barnett using Travis's help to stay on the lead lap at the end of the stage 2, rewarding Travis with a big push towards the end of stage number 3, getting them both a top 3 position here tonight. We'll take a look here at the final results from tonight's race. As I mentioned, Travis Snyder picking up the big win by 7/100ths of a second over Chad Snyder out in his number 26. Greg Barnett coming home in 3rd. Dave Lerfano and Dave Hara, Super Troopers, coming in 4th and 5th. Michael Kerjelek wins that battle for 6th over James Nelson, and Chris Essery in 8th. Final on the track, the final car on the track, 3 laps down, unfortunately, after getting in an accident and not getting a caution to bring it down pit road and stay on the lead lap. Tyrone Yo finishes in 9th, 3 laps down. So, thanks everyone for joining us here on the Sim World Racing Network. This has been a presentation of the All-American Racing League. Again, race number 10 here from Talladega. We'll be back on the air tomorrow night for the Quick Finishers Racing League, again from Talladega. A little bit of shorter race for those guys, but we look forward to bringing you the broadcast. We'll be on the air at 7:50 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. From all of us at the Sim World Racing Network, thanks for joining in, and we will talk to you tomorrow and next Thursday night from Texas.